Welcome to the continuation of this. Right now, when I got myself a fresh cup of coffee as well. So, yeah, let's
That
go
was
with
the
that.
idea.
Come now, you don't really mean that.
Believe me, I do.
I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
Exactly.
If you're just as miserable, why don't you just go away and leave me in peace?
Believe me, I wish I knew how. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
Okay. This life isn't all. No, let's go with that.
Right. For the 1000th time, you want me to find the burglar from the flower shop.
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I've told you several times, although to be fair, if you actually listened to me, I'd still be alive.
No?
At any rate, you wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
I know that would not have happened because I tried the other version the last time or the other way. Revenge? Sure.
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's going to start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe, she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
Adelaide's last performance. She could really bring the house down.
So he, the dead one, is the narrator then. Okay.
Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore. Oh, wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind.
That's wardrobe. Bill's
Should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Fair point.
Oh, sorry. I have a glass right next to the coffee
I always
glass.
like that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room.
Okay, another painting.
Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
It would be nice if you didn't spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music. Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired?
All right. Was that a thing as well?
Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day, you're really going to have problems.
Oh, that's where he's got that. Oh,
Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then.
Oh, it's the pointer.
Ha, that poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you.
Not about me, that's for Bleeding, sure.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
No.
Very much so.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
She
A touch
did.
groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
I wonder. I thought the music was a tad loud, but maybe I have the 7.1 thing on. Yeah, let's save anywho. Why not? A is a good. Yeah, or that. I have a new keyboard, so maybe that's replaced the A. Mirror,
I always
mirror
like that
on the
painting.
wall.
It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city. It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles. You remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes. Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working. I can see why Adelaide calls that plant Miles Jr. It's a spitting image.
So let me move over there a bit so I can. Yeah.
How are your parents doing these days? It's been ages since you wrote them.
That could be anything. A fireplace, message, newspaper.
It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair? Bollingworth Ale, my favorite. And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday. Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days. I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon.
What the hell is that? It's like a bats on
That makes me wonder what old Mrs. Handbrook is up to these days.
whack people with.
Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life. Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard. Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move.
Yes, there is
Building those
something
model
there.
ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one.
Yeah, I'm turning off the 7.1, that's for sure. This seems more like the appropriate volume. I get that out of the way. Fordham, a big case come in big case has come in which I think will come in. A big case has come in which I think will interest you. What the hell, idiot. Meet me at the Ron Coffee House for more details. See Upton.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the ruined coffee house. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
Got in somehow. What does that mean? Yeah, that works. No clues, no people, and yeah, that's the same thing. All right, close down there and sneeze. Yeah, let's do that. Well, as per usual, I am going to pause and read all of this. So if you want to do it, you should pause as well, or grab a screenshot. There, let's talk to Wifey a bit more. That's alright. Maybe that.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
How's work going? You have any appointments today?
Oh, self.
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow
Who are
lately,
you,
but
wife?
pretty soon it'll be
Tell me
debutante
about
ball
yourself.
season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden. How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been
Sorry.
fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am. What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
I'll let you get back to your book.
If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book.
So this is the one where you can play piano then, I think.
I'll see you later, Addie.
Goodbye,
Okay,
dear.
click.
Love you.
Love you too.
Click the piano with a mouse. Should we do TNT again? Yeah, it's just home and that place. Right, let's head on over to that place then.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte. What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way.
Okay.
Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
Oh yeah, these
Greens
things.
sulfur soap. Beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff.
Well, sulfur. What the hell do you expect, mate?
Nice seaside landscape. Definitely a stark contrast to the ambiance in here. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently. Dr. W.S. Sales Wonder Tonic. The best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive.
Exactly what I thought.
Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvin. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles? Professor Xander Colt Tit III's Emulsified Soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea, Fordham. Simon Banks, Professional Chimney Sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean.
Considering how black the bloke was that killed the other one. I mean, you could see everything clearly apart from the murderer. Maybe that's why he was just finished sweeping the chimney.
Patented papier-mâché perambucat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy.
But honestly, I do believe that one would have something to do with it, as we had his address and everything.
All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee?
Feels like something that would happen in a
The
point-and-click.
specialty house brews. These are definitely not coffee.
Good, grab one.
Seems like they have a little something for everyone in here.
Can you even... Yes, you
She's
can.
running
Ah,
back and
just
forth at
look.
lightning
That's-
speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
Oh, it's a tweet.
A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add.
The wrong way? Ah, yeah. Very much a wrong way, yes.
Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day.
That looks more like a ukulele, I would say.
Just one of many
Considering the
patrons
size.
contributing to the oppressive thug in here. Judging by the sooty apron, this man is either a metal worker, a chimney sweep, or just really lazy when it comes to washing. Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies. If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea.
Yeah.
He's missing his left arm below the elbow. How do you suppose that happened?
Ah, there was a bad joke coming up. I'm keeping it.
He and his friend are having quite the conversation. I bet it's really boring.
Keeping those in my head. when they're
Best avoid
that
that one.
awful.
He looks like he might tip over at any moment. Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times.
I mean, I do crappy jokes, but not those. I'm keeping a few to myself.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Hello, Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
Right. Yeah, let's go for
Managed to
that.
sneak another case past Snelling, eh?
Yes, and if he finds out I did, it won't be pretty. This is a big one. We're not in lost cat territory anymore.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupre?
Yeah, no, she's quite dead because it said so in the papers. Yeah, I'm gonna move the glass out of the way so I don't hit it again. So pause. There. And
Laura Dupre. She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
That's
Was-
right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sordid details.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
oh, that's false.
Condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupre's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
Not my problem. Alright.
Has Madame Dupre recovered from her ordeal?
I'm afraid not. Apparently she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
You.
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
Looks a bit like the one from GTA 5, doesn't it? Somewhere in between Peachy and whatever it is. That you get to do head hunting for whatever it's called.
I suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder.
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And of course there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
But the man who killed him is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priority straight. You could learn a lot from Upton.
Yeah, bail bond is what I was thinking about, not head hunting.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Same thing. Sort
Okay, what have you got?
of. Nothing else. What do you have on her?
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
Yeah. Will do.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I want to just solve the case. Him, don't care. We had places. What was that? Oh, that's Bloke's home. Then, yeah, let's head on over there. Why not?
Ah, Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
One of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Not now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Spoil sport. I'm glad the Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs.
Self-driving? They are self-driving, are they?
Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Yeah, that's not. I was thinking that one. Maybe something. Restaurant.
Bonbon's restaurant. I never got a chance to go there, but I hear their deviled eggs are simply to die for.
You right? Anything apart from no? So let's go inside.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
Yeah.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Oh.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
Good day to you, sir.
That's the witch thing, right? The medium. I'm guessing at least. That's the jail. Yes, that's the coffee shop, and that is. Oh yeah, the manor, of course.
Fordham, is that you? You look like something a cat spat up.
Hello, Giles. It's lovely to see you too.
What's that? Oh, whip in the forefront.
What brings you round the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he?
Oh, just look
He's
at
watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business. I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention.
And that's a stripper pole, I guess, right?
Either crime is low, or the police aren't doing their jobs very well.
Yeah, so it's just another empty cell. Alright. Talk to Mr. Martin then.
Mr. Martin?
Who are you? My lawyer?
No, I'm actually here to help you. Name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupre. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
Would you mind answering a few questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
Who are you, my lawyer? No, I'm actually here to help you. That's a good one.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
What's to tell? She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was coming to her. Whoever attacked her deserves some sort of reward for the service they're doing the community.
So it wasn't you then?
No, I'm innocent, Mr. Fordham. You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now, Mr. Martin.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupre's supposed death?
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
What I meant was, how did her son know to accuse you? Have you had any contact with the family before?
Yes, you could say that.
Uh-oh. That gleam in his eye says it all.
You see, I'm involved with Dupre's daughter, Juliet Montgomery. Dupre doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and loving as my dear Juliet.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Tell me about Juliet.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul. She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days.
Yeah, sure.
Juliet wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
We met at the university.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there. Juliet studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse. We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person. To everyone else, I was just the boy who fetched the test tubes. But Juliet actually wanted to hear what I had to say. Had the same taste in books and art. Didn't just treat me like some piece of gardening equipment. She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well. From there, things just got better. I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. How often is Juliet in the greenhouse?
Every weekday, but I doubt she's there now. She's probably trying to find out where I am and working to have me released.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
Me neither. I've played this bit before.
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupre. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
Mother.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
She helps people.
I was hoping you'd be just a bit more specific.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
She's a spiritualist.
Not quite. She's more like... how can I explain it? You know how a priest holds mass to spread the word of God to the people? My mother holds services and calls on the spirits to walk among us, providing healing and guidance.
So she's a religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
Okay, more?
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
Do you do voodoo?
No, of course
do
not.
You?
Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
That's all for now.
Wait, before you go, would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
You already been there.
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
I suppose I could do that, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
Let's check out the case book a bit then, while... That is, nothing new there, nothing new there, but pings and pings and pings. It's, okay, I can't see anything. Oh, now we got some premature inhumation, alright. Accuse Madame Laura Dupre. Someone else. Speak to Giulietta, Dupre, and the message. Prefer that to a massage, that's for sure. And I am going to call that an episode. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you. Have fun.